All right, there you go. Take it away, Ira.
Did you have any registers on the boat? Did they offer registers?
They did not. It has not made its way to Royal Caribbean.
I mean, what are we doing here?
I know. I agree. That's what that whole
I thought
cruise
that was
was
the
me
point.
looking down, trying to find it.
I thought you were going to broker the deal.
I should
make it happen.
I should have. I don't know. Have you ever been on a cruise ship?
I've not.
There's got to be 1,000 people that work on a cruise ship. Where do they sleep? They must sleep way below deck. Like, right.
You saw Titanic.
Yeah, they're in the steerage department, right? I guess
they're getting screwed up.
So I didn't know who to go to talk to about register.
My friend Suzanne, back in the day out of college, she went to work there on a cruise ship, and man, the stories. Apparently, the folks that work on the cruise ships, they get after it.
I would think, right?
It was
at that age.
You're 8 hours on,
just
16
traveling
hours
the
off,
world.
Wherever,
yeah, not a bad deal. But I think she did have to entertain bratty kids. That was part of her job, so that wasn't great.
Yeah, but then that's all the more reason to get after it in the nighttime.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably so.
But Register Sausage is a good way to get after it as well. Registermeats.com is the website, and you can have it delivered. If you live in the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, a bunch of parts of the Southeast, you know the states in the Southeast, there's a chance you have it in your local grocery store. If they don't have it, go complain to the meat manager peacefully, and then order it at registermeats.com. Ben, who runs the place, is a Nole. A lot of Noles work there. Great people, great sausage. Order from registermeats.com.
Do you want to name the states of the Southeast?
There's Louisiana. There's,
where does it stop?
South Carolina.
Is Virginia the last one? Because Virginia was where
close. Yeah.
I mean, that's where the capital of the Confederacy was.
So Maryland's.
Maryland's the one that's the tweener. Yeah. West Virginia is the South.
Virginia is. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's correct.
But I think if you've been to Maryland, you know that there's a southern feel.
Oh, very much so. Outside the bigger cities.
Yeah, Maryland feels, especially if you get outside of Baltimore, Maryland feels a lot more like the South than it does the North.
Yeah, it's a little shaky. A little shaky at times is the way I would describe it.
We call it the Ireland of the mid-Atlantic seaboard.
All right, boys, we get to go to practice today, and I'm for one and pumped. I mean, what a day, right? Today we go back. This is on the heels of the announcement this morning, which we already knew about, but they held the press conference. Ira, I did not make it to the press conference.
I noticed that.
Yeah. Did you? Corey didn't make it either?
No.
Very busy.
I'd already I did all, and I watched the offer press conference. It seemed like he reiterated many of the things I got to talk to him about in Iowa City.
That's what he did. He actually would say, he said, as I told Corey
last week, that's how he started every sentence.
Yeah. So I read the release, saw the original thing. I didn't feel a need to be there today. Did you learn anything?
We got some flavor. There was two. I think the most interesting news out of that press conference, which you can read about at warchant.com, watch the videos, read Corey's story that he wrote remotely. The biggest news is that, even the event organizer said of all the games they've held in Ireland now, they've held several, that Florida State's fan base, the response has been greater so far from Florida State's fan base than any fan base that they've entertained.
Now, let me ask you, I'm going to interrupt right there because I'm kind of curious. You told me this in the hall, and I thought, it's not surprising. But is that a little bit like a concert and the artist telling that city it's the best city they've been to yet? I mean, does it feel a little bit like good to be here in Cleveland?
We'll see next year when he goes to the next site and says, look, you guys are doing pretty well, but nothing like Florida State last year.
We'll see, right?
Now,
he's not doing that at Georgia Tech, I bet.
I do think they would have done that no matter what, but he really meant it this time.
Yeah.
It's like Springsteen really meant it in Tampa.
Yeah, it was next to his heart.
From the heart. But no, Michael Alford gave me some real numbers. He said, I spoke to him afterwards. He said they've gotten over 2,000 down payments from Florida State fans like Jeff Cameron.
Yeah, I've given 4.
You already did the down payment?
4.
Golf package?
Yeah, the whole family. I haven't picked the package yet. I just wanted to get my $250 per person designated. Make sure I got my seats. Section 376. It's like there. It's nice. Club level.
Oh, look at you.
I'm not screwing around.
And they've already had 50 requests for suites, which, man, this stadium must be awesome.
It's a big stadium. It's over 50,000.
And I think they were saying it's built for rugby originally. And, obviously that was kind of cool. Like just to hear him talk about the hospitality. I thought that was John Anthony, the guy who is organizing it. I think he's the one that said it, that the hospitality from Florida State fans has been great on their part. They've loved the way FSU fans have responded to this game. And he goes, hopefully we'll be able to reciprocate when you come over in August 2024. So the party theme seems to keep coming up.
You're all over that microphone. Your lip, it's like your mouth is knocking it. I like it. I like the look.
Excited?
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing.
The problem is it's not like solidly on here.
No,
it's like
just leave
swaying
it.
around.
It's good. Don't let it swing around. Keep it still.
Keep it still and steady. So yeah, I think I'm taking. I think the plan probably will be to take Brady. That might be his first ever flight.
Yeah, I got both boys going.
I feel bad. Like I was thinking about this on the cruise. It's like I don't do enough cool stuff with my son like my dad did with me, and this would be a really cool experience for Brady.
Yes,
it's going to ruin my experience, but that's fine. It'll be cool for him.
Going to ruin your experience.
Well, because I'm going to be in parent mode. I'm going to be like, oh, Brady, don't do that. Please don't do that, Brady.
No,
no.
My kids and I'll let them run around Dublin.
Well, that's fine. Then if they can run around Dublin,
go.
I don't know if Clark and Brady running the streets of Dublin is what we want.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce, we're fine. Bryce can hang with us.
As a rock.
Bryce will be the babysitter.
Clark and Brady, we don't need that.
Yeah, you figured
there might be an international crisis.
Have you figured it out with my boys, haven't you? Bryce is solid. Like when you just
Clark's a wild card.
5 minutes of him watching me parent them, it was a whole lot of Bryce is good to go. Yeah. Clark.
Yeah.
It was constant sort of just walk. Clark.
Yeah.
That's how that goes. But he's in 7th grade. It's a bad grade, man. 7th grade, I would argue, is the worst.
That was my least favorite of all the grades.
That's bad.
I hate it.
Anyhow, so we're all going to Ireland. It's gonna be a lot of fun. They're gonna have to drug your ass.
So we've already talked about it.
Have you got it ready?
No, I got a boat. I got a boat set up.
You're not doing it. Are you gonna do a boat?
No, I don't think they do cruises to Ireland. You'd have to fly to New York to get to on a boat. So that would be defeat the purpose.
Take it back.
No, Stephanie's told me, she's assured me that I won't. She'll take care of me to where I just lay down and then I wake up and we've landed.
Like a baby.
Yeah, like a little baby, like a little newborn. So I'm hoping that happens.
I'm going to look over and Stephanie's going to be like tapping his arm, getting
make sure he's awake.
The injection.
Yeah, here we go. You ready? Yes, please. Before we take off, they fire up the engine.
Give me the medicine, mother.
Yeah.
But if there's a trip to fly to, it's certainly Ireland. Like that's something that's a once in a lifetime thing. We got to figure out, like many Florida State fans are trying to figure out expenses, where they're going to stay. Mm-hmm. But we got 17 months to figure it out.
Yeah, you got it's a year from August. You got a little time.
Yeah, but you can't buy plane tickets right now, but they are going to be expensive.
Oh, this is not for the faint of heart when it comes to the money. It's not going to be cheap. No trip abroad ever is. So that's just kind of a given. But
are we going to do a Warchant meet and greet in Dublin?
I think Gene. People asked about it on the message boards, and Gene was like, "That's a good idea. We'll see what we can do."
We could do a GoFundMe to make sure the whole Warchant crew gets there.
Yeah, just Gene's got to step up.
That's a good point.
I'm sure he's happy to hear that.
I think I think the Warchant faithful got their own financial issues trying to make this.
Well, that's true. They don't really worry about us.
Right, let's make sure Jeff gets there.
Yeah,
they're not doing
exactly
that.
right. Good point.
Yeah, no. So it'll be all right though. We're gonna have a good time, and today we should have a good time as the buildup continues. You get practice followed by Florida State and Florida on the diamond. This is the beginning of a stretch that has the three of us slightly concerned for the baseball team.
It might be more Taylor Swift coming with this baseball team.
No.
Just for this season.
No, they are not going to be sitting there 3/4 of the way through the season with 5 wins like the basketball team was. We're not doing that.
All right.
They didn't start the out-of-conference 2-9.
Well, no, they didn't. They're better than the basketball team, but it's going to be tough unless they find some pitching. It's going to be tough.
Well, Wyatt didn't pitch over the weekend.
Correct.
So,
that's not great.
If you got him on a normal rotation in the weekend, if you win that series, so one game, you lose the 4-2 game. If you win that game, we're not having the conversation. Nobody's upset.
I'm still a little worried about the midweek.
They're going to lose a lot of midweek games.
Yeah, that's not great.
I don't really care about midweek games. I care about winning your ACC conference series, and each one of those are really, really important.
Well, on the downside of that, though, they just played 2 of the worst teams in the conference historically. At home.
Historically, but I think
they're 3-3.
Split them. That BC team's not terrible.
No, they're not. I don't know that they're going to finish in the top 3. It was funny to watch, man. One thing that was interesting about that is Tyler Holt is over there on their staff now. Mm-hmm. And so remember back when he played for Florida State?
Oh, he was brash.
And he was the guy like you always thought like you like him on your team.
Hated him if he was on the other team.
You got to feel for that this weekend because he's over there coaching third base, man, and he is chattering nonstop to whoever's base runners are because there's a lot of base runners for Boston College.
He had a lot of time to talk.
And he is just nonstop, which is also geared to the pitcher.
Without question.
Not overtly.
He knows how to get under the skin.
Man, and I just think he was relishing that weekend and man, I feel bad for the staff. I do feel bad for Link and the staff because I feel like they're trying to put together a puzzle when all the pieces don't fit. Like imagine going to the store and buying a puzzle, but
you're missing.
There's no right answers. Like I don't know what the right answers are. They can get better than they've been, but can they get good? I don't know if they can get good.
they won't ever be great this year, but they could be better than average. So that's around good.
Well,
Somewhere, I think they
that
could
would
be
be
better than
good.
average. I don't feel sorry for him. I think he knows what he signed up for. I think it'll be fun for us to watch how he manipulates this lineup. He's already having to put pieces, like you said, into places that don't fit. Let's just say it. Jaime Ferraro should not be in right field. There's other guys that you see anytime, wherever you put Nander, he doesn't belong there. So, like, as you watch this and we look out on the field, there are times you're like, man, he's having to play a guy out of position, or he's having to play a guy he didn't want to play. But until you get to go out and recruit your own guys, until you can get a better depth of arms, to Corey's point, you're going to lose series, or you're going to lose some games. And sometimes, the way it played out this last time during the midweek, I kind of thought they'd get hammered because of what happened the weekend before. So you're thinking to yourself, man, you're just going to have to wear it. Like, you're going to have to roll a guy out there, and he's going to have to wear one for the team. That first game against UCF was exactly that. Like, just going to have to take his ass kicking.
The smart thing he did that Willie did not do when he took over the football program is Link was very clearly trying to lower expectations.
He was measured
in the preseason, saying he's razor thin pitching staff. I've never been around a pitching staff with this little depth. So he let us know right away that, okay, the pitching might be an issue, and he was prophetic. So let's hope it turns around a little bit. By the way, so you were at the press conference today with Norvell.
I was.
So I watched the video recap. So he's as energetic talking about a game that's 17 months away as he is, I don't know, the LSU game, the 30 minutes after the block extra point.
I think if Mike Norvell sees people, that's just who he becomes.
He amps up.
That's just who he becomes. It was so stark because you had Michael Alford speak, who's not like that.
Yes.
You had President McCullough, who's certainly not like that, FSU's university president. And then the other speakers. But then Alford gets up there and he's just
Norvell.
Norvell gets up there and he's Mike Norvell. So yeah, man, he's got one speed when it comes to public speaking. Going back to baseball real quick, we
got some things to
last thing about baseball real quick is I did like one of the things I liked about Link last night or Sunday after the game was that they had some calls go against them in that game.
Oh,
right?
That home plate umpire was an ass.
He was bad.
Awful.
And he was
awful.
Eric Gregg bad.
Not just the strike zone was bad, but then he calls a foul ball on a ball that's hit off the ground. He thinks it's off the kid's foot.
Yeah.
It was not off the kid's foot. So they get a foul ball, and then the kid ends up hitting a two-run single.
Right.
The next, two pitches later. And then there was, I think, a hit, a batter's, his elbow pads hanging out over the plate, and it gets hit, and it gets a free base. Just stuff like that. They didn't get any of those calls. They also got squeezed on some situations early in the game, which I think affected Carson and the other pitchers. But what I liked about what Link said is, he's like, well, you get those calls if you're sequencing pitches and if you're hitting your spots. If you're commanding the game, you're going to get some of those calls. Florida State's pitchers have not done that.
They've been erratic. Yeah.
They have not been consistent enough. You can't if you throw a ball high, a ball low, and a wild pitch, and the next one's down the middle, you may not get that call. They're just
his eyes are they've had to move all over.
And so that accountability is good because I think I was concerned he was going to kind of rip the umpiring because he ended up getting thrown out of the game, but he didn't. He was like, no, we have to we control that by how consistent we are, and he said that's been a problem for us from day one.
He got thrown out at the right time.
It's
the exact same pitch that was called a strike the last inning, and then there was a fastball up and in that he didn't call, and so you've had the inconsistencies there. That pitch happens, which is the exact one that he just got. Yeah, and so he had to get tossed there to stick up for his team. He did. I think there's accountability. I'm not overly concerned. I think it'll be interesting to see if they're playing well by season's end when they get everybody back healthy. I think they probably will be playing well. I don't think they're good enough to win anything of major significance, but I just want to see how they're playing at the end of the year because I think some of the young arms are exciting to watch get better. You're starting to see that. You and I have talked about that some. And I think if you're healthy at catcher, you have options anyhow. I think you're going to be better there, and you're also going to add some more pop to your lineup. That lengthens your lineup. Yeah. Are they going to be defensively strong all year long? No, but if you get some guys back in their normal positions, it'll help. I'm not as worried. It's
I just want the listeners and the viewers to know that I tried to veer it back into football, and it was completely hijacked into baseball again. That's all I'm saying. That's all. Corey Clark's doing his part.
We'll get there, man. We got a long show. It's okay.
All right. Starting off with the mediocre baseball team after a week off. I don't know. I don't know if that was the right play after losing to BC.
Buddy, it's a spring practice.
It's going to be a fun one, though,
and
man.
we're going to be there. And
They
it's
are in
gonna be
pads, right?
great.
They'll be
They
back
are
in pads?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Got it. I
and
didn't
the
know if they had
ability
another
to speak
acclimation.
on after practice what they did is
Yeah,
a
it
little
was
bit
kind of a
easier.
bummer. I was hoping they'd do Monday, Wednesday, Friday again instead of the Tuesday, Thursday schedule. So we could have something to talk. We could have actually seen a practice yesterday.
I want to answer two things here really quickly in the chat. We'll move to football after we take a quick break, and then it'll be mostly football. William, no, I did not say that there's a guy that does not wish to play. I said that he's having to play some guys that you wouldn't want to have to play. So just to answer and clarify that, I don't want somebody thinking there's a kid out there playing that doesn't want to be out there. I can't fathom that. And David, we didn't ignore the basketball team. Once the pronouncement came that they sucked, what more was there to say?
Yeah.
They suck. They've got to play out the rest of the games in which they're going to suck. The only other question we had was, would they suck enough to get the head coach fired or not? What else would we have been talking about after we had come to the conclusion, very early, I might add, at 2-9 in the out of conference
I think
game.
it was 0-3.
Yeah, well,
we were like,
after
this
the
is a
exhibition
wrap.
game, I was a little suspicious. But yeah, I mean,
We're-
there wasn't anything else to talk about.
Yeah, there's a couple reasons we do think that there's reason for the turnaround. And to put a bow on baseball talk,
Let's do it.
one more time, is that
I think 10 more minutes. I love it.
you do have some guys that are not playing right now that you think will get back. I mean, Cam Smith obviously will get back. McGuire Holbrook, the catcher,
Who I love.
will get back.
Yes.
And then also Diamez Ross, the center fielder, will get back. So those are, that changes your team a little bit. Now you could put guys, maybe Nanner, you like the left-handed bat if possible. They need more left-handed bats, so maybe he could be a DH. Maybe, and there's a couple guys that maybe could be DHs.
You're a sweetheart, Ira.
Can you get three or four?
You are a sweetheart.
Can you get 3 or 4 DHs?
They
Can
should
do
be able
that?
to. You should be at least able to have 2 DHs.
If you're
per
willing,
game.
if you're willing to play 3 infielders,
yes,
and have
you
2
have
DHs.
8 position players, but 2 DHs.
We're good. We're just going to play with 8.
That's how bad some of the fielders
We
are.
just-
You
we'd rather
they
have
don't
them in the
not
way.
have a fielder at all.
Just a vacant space.
Patch of grass.
Because, by the way, that patch of grass will not overthrow a ball into
Correct.
a dugout.
Yeah, it won't
So,
kill you. It'll
just
hold
keep
it for you.
rolling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You got a chance to hold him to a single at that point.
So there is reason that this team could look different. Plus, this is the head coach's first year. He's learning his players. He's learning his pitchers. There's a chance there's some improvement. Part of the problem last year was that team wasn't going to get any better, and that coaching staff knew those players, and it wasn't going to get any better until this offseason when they could start replacing those players. And I think you're going to see that over the next few months.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Injured? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying. I got a
Yes.
question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay, mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
You deserve a special gift this year, like a new hot tub from Pinch a Penny. Prices so low, we can't even talk about it on the radio. You could say their hot tub prices are hot. Claim yours today. Pinch a Penny on Greer Street, just off Capitol Circle Northeast.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at widdenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Some people call me Paul because I work at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Everyone that works here will proudly answer to the name Paul. One of the things I love about my job is that I get to help people fix their problems every day. If you have pests in your home and you're like 99.9% of the people I deal with, you want them gone, not tomorrow, but right now. It always puts a smile on my face to hear the reaction of a customer when I tell them we'll have someone out there in a couple of hours. At Paul's, I get the privilege of making your environment safer and more healthy for your family and pets. And because Paul's provides a same-day service guarantee with minimal wait, we get to begin the process right after I receive the call.
If you live in Leon County and call us by noon, Paul's Pest Control will be out by 5, guaranteed. We're a local company, and it's our mission to help keep Tallahassee area customers comfortable and free from the problems that pests bring. And we do so with treatments that are friendly to our environment for the elimination of termites and any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose up to 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiestakeout.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. With Foodies Takeout and Delivery, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiestakeout.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Rolling on to your football talk we go. And I don't know where you want to start, guys. Ira and I did the Monday Smash last night. Kind of excited about, well, we're always excited to go out to practice, partly because they have so many good players and so many, I don't know, competitive battles taking place at each segment group. So, I mean, this is so much different than it's been in other years, even last year. We thought they'd be better last year. Now they're definitively going to be good. It's a question of how good and who starts where.
But also last spring, they didn't have all the offensive linemen they were going to end up with. Like they got a couple guys in the summer. And so,
including Turninton, right? Like
he was like right before the camp. And so you didn't know, they didn't have quite as many guys on the offensive line. And some of the guys that they had were not fully healthy. I think Dylan Gibbons didn't practice much last spring.
Right.
There's some guys who were going through some things, physically. So you never really got to see a lot of the great battles between the offensive line and the defensive line. And I think once the season starts, you don't see a ton of that in practice because they don't want those guys wearing each other out. But I think that's what I'm looking forward to see is not just competition in the position groups, like who emerges on the offensive line or who emerges on the defensive line, but just those dudes, the best dudes, the really good dudes going to war against each other. I think we're going to see more of that than we have.
Yeah, I mean, on Friday, the last Friday before we left, Tom Lang was there to document a lot of it. But, Darryl Jackson was probably the best player on the field. He was really, really impressive. And again, he might start, he might not, but he's going to be splitting reps, you hope, with 3 other guys that are pretty darn good, maybe awesome. Like that's just, they haven't been in a place like this in a long time where even your second string offensive linemen are getting great reps against guys like that. You know what I mean? Like Darryl Jackson could work somebody, probably will, and did. We saw it. Like, so that only gets them better. I mean, I guess, or they could lose confidence and quit the sport, but that's typically only going to get you better to go up against a guy like that isn't even Fabian Lovett. Like, you don't get a break with a lot of these guys on the defensive line. And the defensive end is the same way. Obviously, 5 is the best one they got. But 56, he gave Jeremiah Byers some problems. I mean, that's a different kind of speed coming off the edge that my man, I guess, was used to at UTEP. So he's got to adjust. It's so, the competition level is so high, or higher than it's been here for so long. It's really encouraging. It should only benefit the team.
I call it, again, over and over, the spring of hurt feelings, because I think there are a lot of guys that started last year and are presumably starters this year that won't start. I think they're going to get beat out.
You just don't tell them that until August 23rd.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they know they're in a competition, and players know more than anybody who's winning those battles, who's the better player. They see it. They go up against it on a daily basis. I don't really care who starts. If you're too deep with that kind of talent, like you say, Corey, it's just going to benefit everybody. Players care if they start or not. But if their reps are not, appreciably dropping, and they're just maybe not the designated starter, they'll live with it. I mean, as long as they're playing and they're part of the reason that the team's successful, most people can handle that. But that's going to happen at a lot of places. I think it's going to happen on the offensive line. I think there's a chance. I said it to you before we even saw padded practice that I think Darrell Jackson could be the starter over Fabian Levitt. It doesn't really matter. They could both start. Depending on the package you want to run in the front you want to run. But I just think they've brought in a lot of talent, and a lot of that talent is going to beat out some of the incumbents.
What's interesting is this is all still kind of new in the world of college football, the portal era, because in the past, like 3 years ago or any time before that, when newcomers came to a team, they're usually freshmen. And older guys don't care. Most of them don't even pay attention to recruiting. Like, they don't know who they're recruiting. They may entertain guys on visits.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter to them. They're just having a good time with some kids who might come to Florida State.
To highlight that real quick and get you back to your point, I remember the spring or maybe the summer of 2010. We asked one of the offensive linemen about any of the newcomers that impressed him. He's like, it was like maybe the third day of camp. He goes, I don't know the guy's name, but the white kid, number 95,
Bjorn
he's
Warner.
really good.
Right.
And he didn't even know who he was. He's like 95. He didn't know his name. He's like 95 is really good. But I don't know what his name is. So anyway.
And so and also the guys at their positions, like, they're not concerned about it because these are guys who are coming in after them. They're gonna have to wait their turn.
They gotta
just
learn
like they
it,
waited their turn. And then even these last couple of years, when you brought in portal guys, it was because you had huge holes.
Yeah.
So you're bringing in a Jared Verse. There's no question Jared Verse was going to start. There's no question Jermaine Johnson was going to start, or Johnny Wilson was going to be a key player.
There was definitely no question Jermaine Johnson was going to start.
What's different now is you're bringing in guys in positions where you already had guys who think they're good.
Yeah.
And we're on a 10-win team.
Right.
And now they walk. Well, who's this guy?
Hurt feelings.
I mean,
here it comes.
And even if they knew they signed these transfers, it's different when you actually see them go through tour duty and go through practice.
They can play. Yeah. I may not start over this guy. And he was brought in over me, and I'm a redshirt junior.
Yeah.
That'll hurt your feelings. This is where when you use the portal, you can really benefit yourself, but you're going to see attrition. People are going to choose to go play somewhere. If they get beat out that far along in their career, they ain't sticking around most of the time. I mean, I think if you're a third-year player and you thought you were slated to start and they bring in somebody over you, that'll hurt your soul, man. Not everybody can handle that. That's going to be tough.
I don't think on the defensive line it'll be an issue because they do rotate so much. Other positions, clearly quarterback would be an issue, but offensive line could be, if somebody comes in, it's going to take your spot, and there's only 5 they don't rotate a lot on the offensive line like they do the defensive line. They do a little, but not to that extent. That's the one where you wonder, okay, if one of these fourth-year guys that's played a lot of football at Florida State doesn't foresee him starting, is he going to be okay being a swing guy and a backup at multiple positions? You hope, but you just
some
don't
guys
know.
can handle that. Some guys are, and they're fine with that.
Don't you think Darius Washington's a guy that, I mean, I hope I'm not jinxing it, is a guy that can handle it because he's never gone into a year being a starter.
I think he's probably pretty safe because
he's a very important dude on this team, I think.
No, he is, but I think DB's another position because you brought in some guys. You have everybody coming back except Jamie Robinson, and you brought in a few guys who could start in that
Kentrell
secondary.
Cypress is going to start, we think.
So how that plays out. Now, I think it's going to be interesting. The cross-training they're doing, I think, is smart for a couple of reasons. Number one, it does give you experience and flexibility if there's injuries or other issues. The other thing is it keeps guys engaged. So now, okay, well, I may not keep my starting corner job, or I may not win this starting nickel job, but maybe I'll be in the top 2 at 2 positions. Yeah. And that's more chances to get on the field. So I think that part of it's got to play into some of their decisions too.
It'll be fascinating. Spring, at the end of spring, is where we'll get a lot of answers. You'll just see, there'll probably be, judging by the way this seems to be playing out, 2 or 3 guys that maybe you could reasonably see deciding to move on. And then there's probably going to be 2 or 3 that you didn't expect,
right.
Just the way that they project their future just like everybody else does. And they're seeing, Malik McClain kind of surprised us all a little bit. That's a good kid who played hard and was a good player. You hated to lose him. You kind of understood it on both accounts, right? You're like, you wished he would have chosen to come back. He would have gotten more touches this year, but there's only one football, and there's a lot of talent in that room. Yeah. And so, I don't know, what was he going to get, 20 catches at best this year? So
Florida State would go games where Jordan Travis threw 13 times.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, Malik McClain's thought is, all right, well, that's cool, but I could be a featured receiver somewhere else, including a place like Penn State, where that's a high-profile gig. If he goes out and catches 42 balls this next year in the Big Ten and has a good year, he's probably thinking in his head, that ups my draft position, gives me a better shot than if I stay here and catch 17 balls because there's too many players here. And you don't blame a kid in that situation, but it's the kind of thing that we're going to have to get used to. And I'm talking about, like, if I'm speaking for the fans, It's going to be tough when you wake up and you pull up warchant.com and you're like, oh, damn, so-and-so just decided to jet. It's gonna start to happen.
Yeah. You just hope, like it's been the last 2 years, it's the sands on the scale are tipped well in your favor. Well in your favor. Like, because they
already are, man. Like, so far, the sands all been here.
It remains that way because, I mean, they have, who have they lost? Corey Durden's the one they lost, I think, that they could have really used the last 2 years. That's about it.
Cyrus Fagan would have helped.
Sure, but Cyrus
DJ
Fagan,
Matthews.
Yeah, but not Durden's the one that you felt, and I don't think you're going to feel Malik McClain. Maybe Sam McCall becomes something, and you're going to feel that one. But the trade-off is Cypress, Fisk, Daryl Jackson, Jermaine Johnson, Jared Verse, Johnny Wilson. I mean, it's been
really...
Jordan Travis was a transfer. I mean, they have crushed the transfer game.
But as your roster gets better and deeper, it's harder and harder to maintain that ratio.
Because you were losing guys like, I don't know, Josh Griffiths, people like that.
Devastating.
Yeah, right.
Don't bring
it
up again, Corey.
I know.
Jesus, I remember where I was.
I mean, there's a long line. I mean, it's the Quayshawn Fullers, and I mean, it's a long line of Carter Boatwright. I mean, there's been a ton of guys.
Raymond Woody, the third and the second. You lost both of them.
Devastating.
But yeah, I just think that portal window is going to be interesting because Florida State, honestly, they're going to have to lose a few people just to get to 85.
Yeah, there are too many now. They're going to happily open the door for some that want to sit down and talk here soon. I mean, come right in. What's on your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I understand.
Yeah.
Like no effort to try to, you sure? No, that's great. Listen, by the way, we anticipated this might be coming. Yeah, there you go. So that is going to happen. By the way, so Corey, to your point, Ira's famed analogy there, the sands on the hourglass. What's the weight doing the sands on the scale? What's the weight doing in the hourglass? What the weights, or what are they doing? Is there any?
There's nothing in the hourglass. It's just flying through.
The sand's gone. It's on the scales.
Yeah, the sand is on the scale.
That's what I do.
That's what I'm saying. The weights are in the hourglass.
I pour the sand from the hourglass onto my scales, and I take those weights and I give them to Corey to work out with.
There you go. I like it.
I do have a question.
We need to replace something in the hourglass.
We're about to take a break, right?
We are.
So I just want to get this in real quick. I got a spray tan before the cruise. I'm okay, willing to admit that.
I'm not shocked.
Right. It doesn't make me less of a person, right? To get us because
why are you asking? Is it eating at you?
It is a little bit
clearly.
Because I'm so pale. I'm so pale, and I knew I might have my shirt off. Well, the people on the boat.
He says he was doing it for them.
But I would have blinded them. Literally, I'm so white, it's impossible. So I got it so much so that when you see me with the spray tan, it still looks like I'm the palest person on the boat because I just wanted a light dusting. We're going further down a road that we don't need to go down. That I know
continues to be something to document.
Something
to document.
I agree.
I mean, Jimbo's got a guy for the implants.
That's true. No, that would be a bridge too far.
We go from the isthmus to a full mane.
A mane like flowing lock.
Yeah, we go Matthew McConaughey. Come in here. All of a sudden, you've just got too much hair. We don't know what to do with it all.
You think people would notice if I did that? Just saying.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Human remains found in Tift County in 2020 have been identified as a pregnant woman reported missing in 2013. The remains have been identified as Crystal Hendricks, 27 years old. Hendricks was last seen on March 8, 2013. It was reported missing that April. Her remains were found on a property on Urbana Road in Omega in August 2020. Now that Crystal Hendricks has been identified, investigators can focus on her death investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call the Tift County Sheriff's Office at 229-388-6020. Tallahassee Museum is set to kick off its 2023 Jazz and Blues Festival this weekend. The festival will be held this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. both days at the Tallahassee Museum, located at 3945 Museum Drive. Guests are encouraged to bring blankets and camp chairs. Frosty beverages and treats will also be available at the Trail Break Cafe and Cash Bar. Tickets purchased in advance are good for either day, but not both days. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly clear this afternoon with highs around 72. Southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 49 tonight. Cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 80 tomorrow. Bright sunshine. Dry with temperatures a bit above average Thursday and Friday and highs in the low 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 66.
Florida, one of the lawsuit capitals of the world. There are more billboards in Florida encouraging you to sue than any country on earth. And guess what? It's costing all of us, to the tune of $5,000 a year per family. We are paying more on everything from food to insurance. Stop letting billboard trial lawyers win while consumers and local businesses lose. Urge the Florida Senate to support SB 236, sponsored by the Florida Chamber of Commerce, PAC.
Tallahassee's favorite family-owned Apple and Mac product stores moved to an all-new location. Mac & More Systems is now located at 230 John Knox Road. Same great people, same great services, same great prices, all at a new location. Mac & More offers computer and Apple device sales, one-on-one consulting, business services, and the most experienced Apple repair team in the city. Learn how to get the most out of your Apple gear. Come by and say hi to the Mac & More Systems team today at their new location, 230 John Knox Road.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
You and I talked about running back Corey. Who's the guy that, I don't know, do you think there's a guy that is a surefire candidate to not be here at the end of spring? Let's just put it that way.
That running back?
Yeah.
No. I don't think there's a.
That's interesting.
I think the Toafili is such a unique weapon that they're going to find ways to use him, and he trusts that and knows that because they always have. Benson certainly isn't going anywhere. Rodney Hill's a redshirt freshman that's going to get more playing time than he got last year, so it's looking up. And Keziah Holmes knew the deal when he got here, and
he's going to play.
I think he's going to play.
And I don't think he could go because they don't have the. He's already transferred once,
but he's going to play. That means CJ Campbell.
Oh, well,
that's possible, but I don't know, man.
I'm not rooting
sure
for him to
that.
leave. I'm just saying, this is the kind of exercise you can do.
Right.
As a fan, if you're thinking about these things. I just presented that because they're so loaded.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say, well, frankly, even though he's a good player, CJ Campbell, because he could start somewhere.
I think it'll be interesting with quarterback after the spring. You got 4 guys. You're going to have 4 guys in August. I don't know. You hope, and probably, because all of them have a reason to stay. All of them have a reason to believe they're on the right trajectory, right?
Doesn't feel like Tate would ever want to leave.
Well,
Duffy's not going to leave.
Also, I think Tate thinks he's going to start. He's going to be starting in Dublin with all of us drinking Guinness.
I think Duffy's the one. If there's one that they
feels
have
like
to
he's getting squeezed out.
right, if there's one that they have to kind of massage, it's going to be Duffy. But the good thing is, he's looking better. So
he was a freshman last year. I don't feel like he feels like he's getting squeezed out.
No, he could feel like it.
But he's already got 2 kids coming after him. He's got Brock Glenn's already here, and then the Krummenhoff kid is coming in the next year, and he's like one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country, according to On3.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But it's a good problem. All of these problems that we speak of and describe as problems are good things when you have too many good players at a position, or potentially too many good players at a position. Where it's bad is when you get one of your best players. Like, we've done a number on some other programs. South Carolina feels bent over on the regular.
Yeah, they've become a pipeline.
Yeah.
They're like the Gwinnett Braves and the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, it hadn't happened to Florida State yet, but I imagine it will. You're going to end up at some point, somebody's going to be like, well, let's go grab one of their starters.
Yeah, that's interesting, though, because there aren't a ton of starters at a program like Florida State with the prestige, the ranking, the tradition.
Yeah, to be sure, South Carolina's not Florida State,
that are
right.
constantly losing starters. I don't know. I guess Alabama could raid Florida State, but I feel like Florida State in that in the NIL marketplace right now is pretty competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I don't know. I don't know that will be the issue. I think it's more about the Sam McCalls of the world, the guys that you want to develop, that need a year or two to develop, that they come and get. I don't know that they're going to come and get a Johnny Wilson.
But we're also focusing on the downside to having good competition is that in this era, you might lose some guys. The huge positive side to this is if you played at Florida State from 2018 to 2022, 2021, you were a quality player, like you didn't have to really compete ever you knew you were going to play.
Yeah.
You
There's
knew
nobody
that they had
pushing you.
nobody else.
Yeah.
If you could play, who was pushing Jamie Robinson 2 years ago?
Who was
Now,
pushing Brownlee?
now,
Brownlee would never
right.
come off the
He
field.
stayed on he would play 80 snaps. And now some guys are self-motivated. It doesn't matter. But for a lot of players, that's going to make them better. So that has to be what has these coaches excited. The guys who do stay and compete are going to be better than they would have been otherwise.
Yeah, I was always jealous of, well, recently Georgia, but LSU did it on defense for years. Remember that? I mean, leading up to that national championship team, I mean, they just were loaded on defense year in and year out. And you would see the depth of that talent in the draft because they'd get so many kids drafted. And you think, what was practice like? Can you imagine being at those practices where your starter is a first-team All-American, the backup ends up being an All-SEC kid who goes on to get drafted in the second round? Like it was nuts watching all those guys. You saw it a lot.
And and again, this was Florida State was like this in the 90s as well.
Sure.
But like those guys, especially on the defensive line, they don't want to play 70 snaps.
Nobody should.
So they're cool with rotating. And I don't think you're going to get a lot. You said that earlier. I don't think there's going to be a lot of issues there. The positions where guys don't want to come off the field, usually, I mean, obviously offensive line, those guys don't rotate much. And then the secondary and a receiver, I think those guys want to be out there as much as possible. Those guys can run all day and they want opportunities. They want the most at bats possible.
Yeah, to your point, even running backs like less carries now than they used to. You know,
they don't want to be worn out. If they're going to be in the league, they don't want to be worn out by the time they get there.
Which is kind of interesting about Trayshawn because he's a guy who I think still would have gotten carries, still would have had opportunities here, but I do think he wanted more carries, which is why he went to Kansas State.
Well, and it's weird with running backs. We grew up, all of us did, in the era where guys didn't even start to quote-unquote cook until they got 15 to 20 to 25 carries. Remember that?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like,
Michigan would always have a guy like a Ricky Powers or somebody that had 41 carries in a game, and his 28th to his 36th carry was when he made all his yards.
Was it Wheatley and all
Wheatley?
those? Remember those guys?
Timbia, Baka, Batuku.
36 carries. And,
always.
Well, you go all the way back, even like a John Carter at Penn State and guys like that, same thing. Like they wanted, and in the NFL, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, all these guys, 25 to 30.
Yeah, and they're wearing your ass out to where you don't want to tackle them anymore. And then that's when they start breaking off the 30, 40 yards.
It's totally shifted now where even kids in college at running back will say, oh, well, I don't need, 12 carries, 12 to 18 carries, just fine.
You know who has no qualms with running a running back a lot is Jimbo.
Right.
Jimbo gets a dude that can make plays. He's like, I'm just going to give you the ball 36. Like his running back he had last year.
Well,
he gave him the ball 37 times. He did it with Dalvin.
Well, and he should have.
Well,
Dalvin saved the team.
Yes. And it didn't really seem to hurt Dalvin too much in the NFL.
No, I think when you have a freak, you got to run him. Your job as a college football coach is to win college football games. You're paid handsomely to do so. If there's a precipitous drop-off between the number one starter at running back and the number two starter, then you better give the number one starter a ton of carries. But the good news here is that you have a clear-cut starter, we think, in Trey Benson. But really, I don't think the drop-off after that is going to be very steep. I mean, I think the second, third, and even fourth guy are all good players.
And I think there are times where you can say, okay, Benson doesn't have it today. I like what I'm seeing from Toafili, and Toafili gets 14 carries, and Benson gets 11. Like that happened some last year, not with Toafili getting 14 carries, but in that in the bowl game, Benson was not your best back. Trayshawn Ward was, and Trayshawn Ward's the one that won the game with Johnny Wilson and my man Fitzmagic won the game. But Trayshawn Ward gave him the lead with that long touchdown.
Now, the coolest thing I heard at the coaches' luncheon we had was with David Johnson. He said that in that game, and I think he said it publicly also, but, everybody knew Trey Benson was close to 1,000 yards. But even Trey Benson knew that Trayshawn was having a much better game. And as that game went on, they went to Trey and said, do you want to get back in? And he's like, no, let Trayshawn keep doing what he's doing.
He's on fire.
And that's pretty cool.
It's really
Trey
cool.
Benson seems like, and they've got a lot of those guys.
I would like to ask him about it some other time. I mean, I never played running back, so I don't know. It's got to be interesting. I mean, how is it that a running back has an off day? You could say, well, it's the same way everybody has an off day at their job or whatever else. I don't know. You run hard, you have vision. It doesn't change week to week. It's kind of strange that Trey did have those moments last year where he just seemed reluctant or hesitant, is maybe a better word. Whereas, and you needed a guy to hit the whole 100 miles per hour and stop dancing. But that's strange to me because I thought some of that was residual from the injury going all the way back to Oregon.
He really says that when we just talked to him a little bit about his running style, and he said it's taken him a long time to understand that he's a big back. Like
he's a big bitch.
He's always known he was big, but he didn't need it. Like in high school,
Yeah, he just ran away.
He just ran away from
because he's
people.
also fast.
And he was on a great team that ran for 1,000,000 yards. And so he's running through huge holes and running into daylight, and he outran people.
Yeah.
He's having to learn how to be that. So I don't think it's second nature. It hadn't been.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's some inconsistency there.
Well, you would think that lesson learned, right? Because when he ran hard last year and hit the hole moving, guys got trucked.
Yeah.
And he embarrassed some people last year, several times over. And the testament to that speed, despite the size, is the kickoff return, is all the stuff that we saw from him last year where he could run away from people.
Who finishes second on the team in carries? Toafili, probably.
Toafili, yeah. But I was going to say, what's cool about this team is that you do have options, man. Like if Benson, for some reason, isn't feeling it, I mean, I think Rodney Hill has a chance to be something real nice. Keziah Holmes is a guy that, like, he just kind of got lost in the shuffle last year. It's like,
I
okay,
like him a ton.
he averaged 3 yards a carry at Penn State. He was on the scout team last year. They had these other guys. You're like, okay, maybe he play. I think he's going to be a big part of this team.
Definitely is.
I think he's going to be a really big part of this team. It's awesome to have another big back in case your primary big back isn't running well, which probably won't happen much, but it will happen some because it's sports. And you have another guy that can go in and maybe give you a different look. I don't know.
It's a really good question. The more that I'm kicking it around in my head, Toafili catches the ball so often, and he's such a big part of the offense. I don't know, though, that he'll get the second most amount of carries.
I wonder what he had last year.
Yeah, well, we could
probably
look
100 carries.
Because don't you feel like this will be a big year for Rodney Hill as well? I mean, they
I'd
love
love
him.
to. I mean,
He's a great player.
Yeah, and I think Keziah too. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be.
See that competition? That's what we're talking about.
He had 90. He had 93 carries last year. Toafili did. So that's what is that? 5, 6 a game? 7?
Yeah,
a game?
he doesn't carry a ton. I don't know that he'll get more than that. He'll catch a lot of passes as well, though. I mean, they're going to continue to throw him the ball. He's really good at it. I don't know. It's an interesting question because Holmes could be the right answer.
But you also have some early games. You have 2 huge games in your first month of the season, LSU and Clemson, where I don't know that you're going to want to be finding out what you've got in some of these other guys. Like, you know what you got in Toafili. I mean, I think you've seen him run in big games. You haven't really seen Keziah Holmes run in big games yet. You haven't really seen Rodney Hill do it in big games. So I wonder if early on you lean a little bit more on Toafili.
Yeah, the LSU game, obviously, you're going to play all those veteran players that were part of it a year ago and who you can trust greatly. But you do have, until you get to Clemson, you got a couple experimental kind of fun games where you can play everybody.
Yeah.
You were giving me a look like you wanted to add something to the conversation, Corey.
No, I just like your hat.
I was trying to play off.
No, I like your hat.
Thank you. It's a nice hat. Go Bolts.
I need to start wearing hats.
I actually think we're stuck in between here, guys.
What happened over there? Oh, Corey lost his
cord came out.
Cord.
I can't hear what you're saying, Jeff.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
It's springtime in Tallahassee, and there's nothing better than soaking it all up in your very own hot tub from Swain Pools and Spas. Swain Pools and Spas is the home for caldera and free flow spas in North Florida, and Swain has the right pricing and tub size options to fit any yard and any budget with quick and easy financing options. Swain even has hot tubs that can plug right into your existing electrical outlets, so there's no additional installs needed. Visit SwainPools.com. That's SwainPools.com.
And right next to Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee Car Care. Stop in today for everything from an oil change and brake repair and tires to alignments and transmission. Big or small, we do it all. It's Tallahassee Car Care, the only repair shop where you can take a dip while we repair your whip. Tallahassee Car Care, right next to Swain Pools and Spas.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick, professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Roll it on. Short segment here. We'll get to headliner questions in hour number 2. Corey, I'm told maybe you did not post for Facebook questions.
Yeah, I did. Did I not?
Somebody called you out on the Twitter feed, Ira's famed Twitter feed.
I hadn't seen that.
No, I did like at 9:00 last night. I had to record the
You
podcast.
did do it. You
I
did
think
do it.
so, unless it didn't go through somehow. But I
No,
did.
I
yeah,
trust
did
you.
do it.
I believe you. I saw.
Now you got me
somebody
worried.
No, I think you're probably right. I just saw a tweet go out last night. I was watching the World Baseball Classic, which was awesome last night, and I was sitting there watching that, and I saw that Ira right after we got done with the smash, and I was like, oh yeah, let me see, and I pulled it up, and this guy commented that I'll read his question. He comments that he thinks you're in a gang because you always give gang signs when you take pictures.
I don't know that the peace sign is a gang sign.
Well, I think sometimes the way you do it might suggest
I'm not doing any weird things with my fingers.
Going on
from
with
Atlanta too.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Jimmy Carter
Jimmy
Boulevard.
Carter Boulevard.
I mean, you have to fit in.
Always
You have to
doing
adapt.
your sideways stuff. It seems a little bit. Pretty soon you're gonna start pointing a pistol.
Well,
but,
a fake one.
Yeah, fake one. Yeah, like fake gangster. Yeah. So there's that, and then but he said at the end of it, I think he tagged it. Still no Facebook post.
Well, I think we made it.
He might have just been keeping score, letting everybody know that I was on it, had it done.
Because I mentioned the
posted
cruise.
early.
I mentioned that I was on a cruise. Corey came back from his cruise. We're back from a week. I know I typed out the question, so we might get
You
some cruise
typed out
questions.
the question.
Have you ever
using
been on a
third
cruise?
Person?
He
I
hasn't.
have. Yeah.
It's all right.
I hate the cruise.
It was all right.
I think they suck.
It's all right though. If you're not willing to fly like I'm not, it's a nice alternative to go see.
Yeah. There
getaway.
are good cruises. My father did the big, massive Alaskan thing where you're on a massive boat and you do it upright. I did the one to the Bahamas. I did another. I've done 2 or 3, and I don't like them.
You think your dad would take Corey and I on a cruise?
Yeah, take me first.
The
He's never
father-son
taken me.
cruise?
He's never
I
taken
feel like,
me.
but you don't like cruises.
But I'll go on the one if we're doing Viking cruises or something like that.
So
I'll
but
do
again,
that.
how are we going to get to Alaska? I'm out. Can I
you're
take
done.
a cruise
You're
to
done.
Alaska?
You're done. I'm going. Iron, I'll fly.
Yes.
We're
All right,
going.
y'all
you
go.
pictures.
Y'all go. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll go to Coco Cay or whatever that nonsense.
Yeah. So did you Senior Frogs and all that?
I did not. I didn't get off the boat in Nassau.
Mm.
Didn't feel the need.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Didn't feel the need. I liked the boat when it was empty. It was fun.
My buddies in South Florida would go back when they would do the gambling ships.
$45.
Yeah.
You take it out
Just
there.
go out there to gamble?
Oh, buddy, yes, I've done that a lot. Now that's fun.
But I also half the time they would come back and go, yeah, I lost all my money in the first half hour. Now you're just stuck at
You're just
sea
stuck on a boat. Yeah.
till whenever. I'm sure they have plenty of ATMs.
I was going to say they got plenty of ATMs. You got to have side money for your drinking to drown out your miseries while you're out on the boat. You're like, man, I just lost $7,000. How did that happen?
And they give you drink packages on your card where you get unlimited. Well, they're not free, but they're unlimited drinks if you pay enough money. So Stephanie got both of us that.
Yeah.
Which I think we like a beer on a cruise is like $8.
Mm-hmm.
So
imagine that. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
priced
so
rationally. No.
just if I drink 5 Mick Ultras, which I did, that's $40, and that was just for 30 minutes.
All part of it.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
almost like it's free, Corey.
Almost.
You're also what's funny when people that live in a college town like Tallahassee, and then you see beer prices in real cities.
Hey,
oh, buddy.
Hey, let's not say that Tallahassee's not a real city.
In non-college cities.
There you go. That's much better
a
phrase.
big city.
I
Much
mean,
better phrase. We're a state capital, Ira.
It's just like, what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
$8, $9.
My
Yeah.
brother, one of my brothers lived in Denver, and before that, he lived in San Francisco. And I'll just say this: he was making more money than most of us will ever see. And he was like, "I'm broke. I'm broke." He goes, "We go out to eat, $350.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get away with it. 2 beers. Screw you. You're having water."
Yeah, water. Yeah.
Hour number 2, headliner questions coming your way. Hang in. Seminole Headlines continues in a moment.
More of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
The National Hockey League today, the Tampa Bay Lightning, a $2.60 road favorite at Montreal. The Canadiens plus 220, 6.5 over the total at the Bell Center. Tampa Bay currently third in the Atlantic Division. Florida Panthers, another 75 favorite at Philadelphia, plus 145, 6.5 flat at Wells Fargo Center. College baseball today, the Florida Gators, $1.30 road favorite at Florida State, plus 110. WGC Dell Technologies match play at the Austin Country Club in Austin, Texas this week. Scotty Scheffler 8-1, Rory McIlroy and John Rahm 11-1. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Every piece of land has a story. The Upshaw's right there is with a John Deere 1 Series tractor they call Penny.
When the project comes up, you have to just jump in and figure out what is it going to take.
From front loader to backhoe, the Upshaws have the tools to DIY all day long. Run with us on a 1 Series tractor and start telling your story. Get a 1 Series tractor starting at $134 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos, and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze fruit on the go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Call Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Bear No Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere.
Save big time in the new year and get $1,200 off select new units.
Online at BaranoAC.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
This is Ken Wondergem, owner of Gem Mazda of Tallahassee, serving North Florida and South Georgia for over 20 years. And I'm happy to announce that things are finally back to normal at Gem Mazda. Our lot is loaded with brand new Mazdas for the first time in 2 years. So if you've been waiting for the price and selection of new cars to return to normal, the wait is over at Gem Mazda, where we've always provided our customers with the highest quality of service and care. You know Mazda's reputation for efficient, dependable, and affordable vehicles, but you simply must experience the luxurious new lineup of 2023 Mazdas in stock now at Gem Mazda of Tallahassee. Get adventurous and connect with nature in a brand new 23 Mazda CX-50 with all-wheel drive. But hurry in while the value of your trade is still high. At Gem Mazda, we take our slogan seriously. No games, no gimmicks, just a gem of a deal. Gem Mazda of Tallahassee, Capitol Circle Northwest, just up from West Tennessee Street, and always open at gemmazda.com.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, headliner questions coming your way in just a second. I'm Jeff. There's Ira and Corey. By the way, saw Dr. Birch Orthodontics. sponsor of the show and emphasized in this hour. Saw Dr. Birch yesterday. We had an emergency wire loose. Got me right in at 4:30 at the end of the day. Swung in there with Clark, fixed it in 10 minutes. We had a long conversation about life and football. It was great. Baseball was thrown in there as well. I was home by 5:15. Forget about it. Beautiful.
No, but other people can get that treatment too.
I don't
It's
know.
not
Maybe
just
not. Maybe
probably
not.
not. Yeah,
Probably
okay.
not. I don't know.
Probably the Jeff Cameron
Yeah,
treatment.
probably. I mean, I have a direct line. I called, said, Doc, it's me. I'm on my way in. Okay, come on.
I'm in the parking
Not
lot.
everybody has that.
It's a separate phone line that they installed just for you.
Yeah.
Well, the three of us, even though Corey's maybe not included.
Well, she just likes to hang out.
Yeah.
The
She just likes me to
Sheffels
stop by.
wouldn't. Sheffels didn't call. We would just show up.
That's what you do.
This is what we
That's
need.
a power play.
This is
Ira.
what we
You
need.
just walk through the door. You're
Make
like,
it
listen,
happen.
I know I didn't call, and I see all the seats are filled, but
I'm here. Let's go.
It's me. So
BirchOrthodontics.com is the website. If you or anybody in your family have orthodontic needs, you cannot get better service, better orthodontic work than Birch Orthodontics, and great community partners. She's constantly donating to schools, raising money for people. Huge FSU fan. We cannot endorse them strongly enough. Birch Orthodontics. She's the orthodontist to the stars. That's what the stars of Tallahassee is what we like to call.
Well, the Stars kids, right? Like,
right.
yeah,
Well,
not you guys. You haven't gone to her personally yet.
no, I should, but I have not.
I'm going to have to ask Matthew to fix this computer. We're good. We're live. We're all good. We'll find a way to continue. But every time I try to pull up something like Twitter to read a question or Facebook to look at the questions, this thing redirects me as if I'm trying to infiltrate some sort of code or setting.
We could try our hand at reading questions again.
I got one.
That went so well before.
Yeah, you guys are
I
seamless.
nailed it.
I got one right here.
Yeah, go for it.
This is from Josh Diekman. I'm not supposed to give the last names, am I, on Facebook?
You already screwed this
Yeah,
up.
I did.
It'd be like,
Why don't you give us his address? Where's
Yeah,
he
he
live?
didn't post it. I need to click on his bio to
Yeah.
see if I can get that. And like maybe kids or girlfriends.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeff loves him some Blake Nicholson and thinks he will be a starter soon, maybe getting some time this year. My question to you guys is, when was the last high motor
I remember when I talked to Henry Crockett about his time at Florida State, I think it was Todd Rebold. He said that he just could not believe how good he was as a freshman. Like when he came in, just like so smart and just like,
Got it right away.
man, he said he raved about it.
Rebo was a good player, man. He was really, really good. And obviously Darrell Bush was as well, but that's interesting. I don't know. Blake Nicholson is a great athlete, though, period. And we've moved on from those times where we have these codes, no longer. Josh Allen runs around.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. That's
Josh
an athlete.
Allen is going to
That's
get
an athlete at quarterback right
get
there.
the Richardson kid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because they're projecting him to be
Well, they're
a
comps.
Josh Allen
They're
type.
comps.
Yeah, they
right?
are.
Yeah. So big, strong,
You
ridiculous.
can tell the story you told me at break.
So there was some
Come on,
there
do
was
it.
some chatter in the chat about Josh Griffiths, who we mentioned earlier in the show, and somebody said how good he was. So anyway, I looked him up because he's been to two different schools since he left Florida State, maybe 3 different schools. I think he might have gone to a junior college, then he went to Jackson State, and now he went in the portal
He
again.
had 4 tackles last year
and
at Jackson State.
went somewhere else. But anyway, the point is, I searched in Twitter for Josh Griffiths and FSU just to see if I could find out where he ended up going to. And
Jeff's not listening to you.
I'm completely listening. This thing's broken. I'm trying to get to the questions.
there was an article, or there was the first thing that came up with was a tweet from me in 2019 when Josh Griffiths signed with Florida State of Odell Higgins saying he reminds me of Bjorn Werner.
Oh,
which was just funny because it's like
that was the comparison.
Yeah.
And who are they going to compare Cam Fryer to when he shows up next year as the wide receiver?
Matt Fryer.
Matt Fryer. Yeah.
That'll be good.
They're not going to be like, oh, he kind of reminds me of
Rashad
Rashad
Green.
No.
I'm going to answer questions because this thing has just.
So
been
do
on the
I go back
fritz.
to asking?
You'll ask the Facebook questions.
Okay.
You
all
go
right.
take it to Facebook, and we can just tag team
I'll
this
just-
thing.
and
Here
I'll
we
cheer
go.
you
You
guys
sit
on.
back. You ready? Alfred's decision regarding Leonard Hamilton and the basketball program will happen when and how will we know?
It already happened.
So
and
he's
you know
back.
because I wrote a long story last week about Leonard's plans for the future.
Well, but that doesn't mean he may have had plans and they may have had other plans. I'm just
I wrote that
decision's been
meat story in June of last year.
Leonard Hamilton's staying at Florida.
Yes, he is going to be the coach next year at Florida State.
Andrew writes, will there be any Ireland travel packages like the Notre Dame game? Yeah.
Yeah, they're already
out there. Yeah.
I think
they're going to be more expensive.
And they're going to be bountiful though. I think there's multi-city ones, not just Dublin, for example. There's the golf package that I know you could already do. There's a bunch of
one. So FSU's putting out one. The website I think is Seminoles-to-Ireland.com, something like that. If you go to Seminoles.com, you can find it.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of other ones. I saw Dexter Carter tweeted one. He's endorsing one. If you follow him on Twitter, there's going to be plenty of packages.
Dexter Carter's got his own?
Well, he's like endorsing it for some travel agency.
Oh, okay. All right.
He said he and Charlie Ward are going to be there.
I feel like
the
we
Jeff
could be
Cameron
endorsers.
package is already in play. I already grabbed 4.
Are you playing golf?
I want to. I did not sign up for that package just yet. I'm going to kind of do my own independent golf.
Are we going to play golf?
Well, here's the thing. So remember when the AC kickoff was in Pinehurst?
Yeah, I was there with you.
I didn't play golf because I felt like I was going to offend the course. So I feel like the same thing with Ireland.
Pinehurst number 2 is no joke. You can't be out there.
Be out there for those send a search party
stuff. Yeah, that's not good. In addition to basketball, if we also end up sacrificing baseball this year, does that equate to a playoff berth for sure for football?
Apparently, yeah. Everything's got to go into the tank for Florida State to be good at football again.
With the sacrifice of basketball, another one. With the sacrifice of the basketball program to the football gods complete, have you guys booked tickets to the national championship game yet? People do equate these things, apparently. Facebook question. Go.
All right,
fire
here we
away,
go.
baby.
This is from Logan. Corey, what Taylor Swift albums did you take with you on the cruise? I did not take one. Beyond the Nicholson commitment, we've been basically cheeks at linebacker. I've never said that phrase before. I feel good saying
it's
it.
It's fun saying it.
It's going to be the last time probably.
Nothing but cheeks, baby. We say it all the time.
Or buns.
Mm-hmm.
Is buns good?
No,
buns is
buns,
bad too.
Buns
equivalent to cheeks.
Very similar.
We've been cheeks at linebacker for what feels like 8 to 9 years. Why have we been in such a rut when it comes to that position? Could you see them moving on from Randy Shannon if this continues for another cycle?
They're not cheeks anymore. They're not cheeks.
I mean, they're not.
They're not. They were cheeks a few years ago.
They were cheeks 2 years ago. Last year they weren't cheeks, but it's not a strength of the team.
Right. Correct.
Now, we need to get a lot
So in
better
relation to other position groups, it's cheeks.
It's cheeks.
I don't know that it's cheeks.
I mean, it is straight up.
I think it's cheeks.
No, it's not cheeks.
It's
In
Maurice.
relation
It's
to
you
Maurice
guys are
cheeks.
full of
It's cheeks. Nicely done.
what's in cheeks. It's not cheeks, man. It's not.
I think it's cheeks.
It's all
They're
right.
not bad.
But they're
In
not
relation-
bad.
They're not
in
bad
relation-
at linebacker.
No,
Yeah,
but
that's
in
not how it
relation-
works.
Well, I'm
That's
just
not how
telling
it
you.
works, man.
That
If
was
you're
the
on a
premise.
team,
Hey, that was just the premise so I could say cheeks, Ira. Calm down.
Are you representing one of these two guys that are starting?
Yes.
What's going on here?
Are you in an NIL deal with one of these guys?
Tatum Bethune's from Miami
That's true. Yeah. Deloach, you've always had a soft spot for.
for
Yeah.
Savannah.
But to answer the question, if they don't, they got Nicholson coming in.
And I like him. He's going
But-
to be a good player.
It has not been a strength of the team
No.
in the last decade.
All right, to
and they
answer the
have not
question, let me tell you
crushed it on the trail.
Okay.
Recruiting
You're getting to my, this is a thing of mine. My target last year was in the secondary. He's gone. They got to do better. We need to see a huge step up, and then we'll have this conversation. But yes, I would think that he's under a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, but also Randy Shannon's been on the staff
Correct.
for a year and a half.
Right. And so if they're not
He's
better
not
by
the one that
next year-
recruited this position.
Right. And I need to see.
And he is signing Blake Nicholson. Yeah, man.
All right. I'm not going to have the argument. He's okay.
I'm not saying he's the only guy.
No,
Right.
yeah.
He's definitely not.
coming to play.
Yeah.
That's his position.
Yeah, he is.
All right, I got another one, and then we'll go back to you. This is from Kevin O'Kelly, which is
Oh,
I
nice.
keep saying the last
Would
name.
you stop already?
Kevin, you know who you are. Scratch that, Matthew.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah,
bleep
we'll
that out?
yeah.
Can we go back and bleep that out? Which is the least likely to happen? Corey takes a plane to Ireland, or Corey drinks an entire Guinness when he gets there?
Oh, you'll drink a Guinness.
No, I'll.
No,
I
he's
mean,
gonna
I'll
have to fly. to
I'll
Ireland.
fly there.
Yeah,
That's,
but you'll drink a Guinness
No, I
once you
won't.
get there.
I
Yeah, you
don't-
will. You're
no,
going to
I
be at St.
hate-
James Gate with us.
no, I don't like Guinness.
You're
I
going to
told
go
Jeff, though, I'm
to
gonna-
the
I'm gonna-
brewery.
I'm going to take the next 17 months to build up my taste.
Your
for Guinness.
tolerance for it?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not a tolerance. It's a low alcohol beer.
But it's
No,
just
it's
gross.
just
It's like
thick and
drinking
gross.
sludge.
If
It's
you don't
not
go
like
from
drinking
Mick
sludge
Ultra
at
to
all.
drink Guinness,
Good God, you guys.
I'll drink vodka. They got vodka in Ireland?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Listen to me. Listen to me. When we go to St. James Gate, one of the oldest breweries around, right, and you get
You
to
don't have to
go
tell
through
me.
and you get to go through and see all of the history, and you go to the top and you get your complimentary Guinness, you're damn well going to drink it. I'm going to be standing next to you, and it's going to be
I'll
outstanding.
take a sip.
You're
I'll
gonna
savor
love
it like a fine wine. I'm not gonna guzzle the
Oh
thing.
my goodness.
What did they give at Busch Gardens back in the day? Was it like Busch Light?
You could get everything from Busch Light to a Budweiser to
Is Busch Gardens named after Busch, the beer?
Yes.
Is it really?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that. Is that y'all make? Y'all
They
make
literally used to give it when you walked in. They would
I've
give
never
free
been there.
beer.
So it's named after the beer company?
Yeah.
I always wondered that. I was like, what's the deal with Busch's
Hey,
in Tampa?
now, you were thinking, man, this is another risque place in Tampa.
No,
Go figure.
right next to Mons.
Another one. Just they're just out in the open with it, aren't they? And even kids go here.
Yeah.
Start
them early.
Start
them early in Tampa.
You're building a national championship team using only running backs who have worn the number 3. Only one can be on the roster. Who's your choice between Leon Washington, Cam Akers, and Trey Benson?
I hate that question.
By the way, based solely on their collegiate careers. Well, it's interesting.
I hate that question.
I do too, because my answer is going to be Leon Washington.
Mine's Cam Akers.
I understand.
I would go Leon, Trey Benson, Cam Akers.
I go.
Personally.
Cam Akers was really, really good behind an awful offensive line.
Yep. Trey Benson's also really, really good, and Leon Washington's really, really good. You're not going to fail either way. Leon Washington was a beast.
I just think Cam Akers behind this line,
not good offense.
But that offensive line was good. He was running behind NFL dudes.
He was incredible.
Cam Akers he had James Blackman at quarterback, and he had Abdul Bello blocking for him.
Come on, man.
I love Abdul.
Apparently
he's
you
my
take
guy.
shots at
I
him on
love
a weekly
Abdul like
basis.
Ira does the linebackers.
So Michael says, was it a coincidence you all too busy last week to record on Pi Day?
Was it Pi Day?
It was Pi Day.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It was National Pi Day. Yeah.
I did not have any pie.
Well, you were on a boat, right?
No, not on
Not yet?
Tuesday. Yeah, I was preparing myself.
Mm.
I was preparing myself.
They
By the
do-
way, blackjack is rigged. I hate that game. Hate it.
Not rigged.
Yeah, I
Another
hate it.
news flash.
Yeah.
Along with Busch Gardens being named
But
after
it's supposed to be the best odds in the house, and it is
It is.
technically. I have blackjack it, but it's rigged.
Do you know what you're doing?
Absolutely, I know what I'm doing.
I don't know that's true.
I've got a 10. I got a 6 and a 4. Dealer showing a 6.
Mhm.
What does Daddy do? Daddy's going to double down.
Yeah.
Because that's a bus card.
Yes,
And
it is.
so I get an 8. 18's nice. Dealer has a 6, flips over a 5, king 21. Isn't this a fun game?
Hey,
no, it sucks.
You don't win every one of
It's
them.
all about
I know.
volume.
How do you
It's
think
all
you
about
win? You
volume.
got to
I know.
play
I
over
know.
time.
You just have to have
Well,
the bankroll to sit
Corey,
there.
go sit down.
You have to withstand the
That's what I'm saying. You have to
9
have the
straight
bankroll
losses.
to sit
Yes.
We were at Harris together. You gambled for hours.
No, I know.
What is it
Yeah.
you're missing here?
No,
This is-
I get it. I just hate the game. I like Pai Gow. Pai Gow's a great game.
You lose slowly.
You do. You lose
Blackjack,
slowly.
you can lose quickly.
Okay, Marty wants to know, who are you all most excited to see on both sides of the ball for the spring game?
Hold on. So what's the what's the lowest limit or lowest?
10. No, in the afternoon they had a $3 blackjack
Oh,
game.
what do we do?
Because
I
that's what I
didn't
was
do
going to
that.
say. The problem, like at Hard Rock or something like that, is like if you
You
go on
get
a
a
weekend
$25
night.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like-
on a Saturday night. It's a $25 minimum.
I
No, they
can't
had
sustain these hits.
They had $10 minimums. No, it wasn't about
Yeah.
losing the money. It was just it was really frustrating to keep losing on good hands. But hey, credit to the dealers. They
just
they
good.
played great. They played
Sometimes-
great.
Sometimes you got to tip your
You
cap.
just got to tip your cap. They just do what they.
When there was a play to be made,
They made
They
it.
made it. They made that
made it.
play. They're like, oh, I got to have a 7 year. Well, look at that.
Look
It's
at
a
that, man.
7.
Awesome. We all
Son of a
lost.
gun.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
You should do press conferences after after playing a little blackjack.
You know, I felt like we did everything we were supposed to do there. We were prepared. We knew what to do. I can't ask for anything more. The guy just made a play.
Yeah.
Made a play. It was amazing. Had to have a 5 and a 4 and got both.
Got
And,
both, and that,
you
the
know,
odds of
I
that are.
told him, just keep playing. Just keep playing because it'll work out. But it didn't. It didn't. today.
Sometimes the blackjack
Yeah.
gods just aren't smiling on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just go drink some more.
Guys, we're most excited to see on both sides of the ball in the spring game.
Most excited. Oh, shoot.
Maybe Rodney Hill. See what he looks. Are they going to be tackling? That was a question on Facebook too. Do we know the format of the spring game? Will it be like last year? I guess
Well, it
where they
can't be
start
like
out with
last year. Don't go double pick on 2-point.
Yeah, I was going to
conversions
say start out
the
with
day.
2-point conversions.
No.
Don't tell anybody what's going on. Just starts with the ball at the 3. Why don't they just start with PATs? Just have a kicking contest. Just every 5 yards, go further and further back, and that's the kicking.
Although people would be interested to see a kicking
I know
contest this
it's a
year.
lot more than 2-point conversions.
Yeah, start that way with the kicking. Hopefully
Yeah,
it won't be
Rodney
40,
Hill, if
but
they're tackling, I'd like to see Rodney Hill. I don't know that Trey Benson's going to get a ton of
Doesn't
carries.
need to.
Toa Feely probably won't. I want to see what Rodney Hill looks like behind that.
that
offensive
is
line.
the interesting thing with the format and how they play it. You're right. A lot of these veteran players that you're counting on to guide you to at least an 11-win season, I think most of us will be like, yeah, they don't need to play. We don't need to see them. You got a lot of guys competing for spots that need a chance to showcase their wares, right? Let them go at it. Let them go to war.
Yeah, I want to see the young receivers, Hakeem and Van Dravius.
Yeah,
I like them a lot.
Those are guys that I think it'll be fun to see what they can do. And I think they'll get a lot of opportunities because, again, you're not going to probably feature too many of the older guys. And then
What about Winston Wright?
I still feel like they'll probably be slow with him.
You think so?
I mean, I just don't think you're going to.
Because I'm excited to see him. And
No, I
I'm just
know.
kind of curious there.
Yeah, and it's staying in the receivers, Williamson. What's he gonna? Can he have a big spring game that can catapult him into the type of player that he might just be? We'll see. He needs to be good these next 3 weeks, or whatever. Is it 3 weeks left till the spring game? Yeah. But I just think he has a chance to be the number 2, and he needs to start playing like it.
Defensively, I just want to see more of the linebackers. Just more Tatum and Caleb.
True. Yeah.
Kalen and Tatum.
I want them wrapped in bubble wrap. We don't have anybody behind them.
Oh, but they're cheeks. But now you need them in bubble wrap.
So here's
but
the
they're
thing.
cheeks.
They are cheeks.
We're
They're
not
not
to
cheeks.
stop. We need a moratorium on cheeks. I don't think we're not the demographic to be using that. I don't think.
Tongue in cheek.
Okay, all right. Tongue in cheek.
It's
tongue.
I'm letting
So
you,
is tongue good?
I'm letting you know.
Are the
like
receivers
cow
tongue?
Have you ever had cow tongue?
No.
It's good, man.
I never have. Is it?
Oh, it's really good. It's kind of like corned beef. Tasty.
I don't
You
think
just
I'll
got to
ever do
block
it.
out the idea
It's
that it's
tough.
tongue.
So you don't eat mayonnaise or all this other stuff, but cow tongue you're about.
Cow tongue is good.
Well, that's cheap.
What about Rocky Mountain oysters? You get
Not
after
me.
them.
That's more
You
of a
find a way
Corey.
to block it out.
More of a Corey.
I've never
specialty.
had them. I wouldn't say no to them though. Just throwing that out there. If anybody sees me on the road, wants to buy me some Rocky Mountain oysters,
Corey,
On a
I've been waiting to
cruise.
meet you. Rocky Mountain oysters right here, buddy. Let's
Sweet.
go. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Car accident? Call Facing Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay, mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, Chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Helps if you have your mic on. All right, let's get back to questions. Do you want to go Facebook?
You go first.
Is that computer down for the count? It's dead? DOA?
It's been troubling, but it's working. We got it back up and running. It's been problematic. Frustrating, to say the least. All right, here we go. Oh, no, this is somebody wondering.
I got it.
Okay, here
Christian John. That's his middle name. I didn't go with the last name.
With this.
Didn't go with the last name.
All right.
So it's just Christian. CJ.
Mm-hmm.
I call him CJ. SEC owns football. Now they dominate basketball. Is this a one-year blip, or are we seeing the spillover from football money and becoming a basketball?
Yeah. It's same for baseball, by the way. They have the best baseball programs in America too.
Yes, by a wide margin.
Oh, and their facilities are second to none. This is what happens when the money gap is as
they
large
can't
as
spend
it
it all
is.
on football.
But they're spending the money that they're going to be making in the future.
Yeah.
Like again, Florida State has coaches that have had to turn down offers. I think Lonnie Alameda, it's been well documented. SEC schools have come after Lonnie Alameda like every year because they have
more money to spend and they know what to do.
Softball's not a revenue sport necessarily, but they don't care. They've got money to spend. And that's going back to the very reason Florida State is doing everything they can to get out of this deal with the ACC is because that's the horizon.
Well, that's why
We're
Mike Alford said what he said. We can't compete if the status quo.
And it's not just about
something
football.
has to change.
It's everything. Yeah.
Oh, and it will get worse and worse. You'll be angrier and angrier by the year. The evidence will be overwhelming. It started a couple years ago with baseball. I started getting frustrated. You know, you guys know I've ridiculed the dump that is Dick Hauser.
It's improving.
They've done a much better job of putting lipstick on it. But the thing, and they've highlighted their successes, which is something they needed to do because
I
this
don't
has
like
been,
lipstick. Do women still wear a lot of lipstick, or is it more
depends
of a lip
on the
gloss?
woman, man. And some women pull it off, others don't need to wear it at
yeah,
all.
I've never been a fan. I like lip gloss more, I think, but some of it's just it's off-putting. And people kept asking me, Corey, what is your take on lipstick? And I finally was able to give you.
Well, you got a chance. This is your moment. This is probably the one chance you're going to get.
5 years.
And it's not just for women anymore.
There you
Good
go.
point.
Well, what I would tell you, by the way, that is that when we watch, if you flip around and you catch a college baseball game, I love baseball. So if I see a baseball game on and it's compelling two ranked teams, I'll watch for a while, even if it's not Florida State. And every time I'm struck by the facilities. I'm like, well, look at that. That's a damn palace compared to what we're playing.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. And I know it's frustrating even within the ACC. Florida State fell way behind. So, yeah, that all has to change or we're in deep trouble. And, yes, you'll see it in every sport. It's happened in basketball now, and it'll continue to happen. ACC's got – can you imagine if you are an ACC honk, you're a diehard, you wave the flag, and you look out there at this sorry sap of teams, this collective group that played basketball this year? Like North Carolina preseason supposed to go to the championship.
They make the tournament.
Terrible. Miami's holding the
Who
flag.
had a more disappointing year, North Carolina basketball or Florida State basketball?
North Carolina.
Yep.
North Carolina.
Relative
better players
expectations.
across the board. Yeah.
They all came back.
Sir Stuart Wallace writes, I think Travis Jay at safety this year may remind us of what we got from Brendan Gant last year at safety. I'd love to see it. P.S. Jeff, I hope you remember to turn on the damn mics this episode. Get it together, buddy.
Well we've had other issues.
That's not my fault. I'm not in charge of the computer. Now, I will say this. We're all rooting for Travis Jay. I don't know if it'll be that way, but it was a good comp because Brendan Gant did surprise us last year. I thought he played pretty good football, and I gave him zero chance of.
And he's a guy that I thought when they moved him to linebacker last spring, I thought, okay, well, Brendan Gant's going to be somewhere else.
He'll be transferred
by the fall. But he stuck it out, man, and they contributed.
Yeah, a real contributor there late. Yeah, for sure. Rob writes, Aaron go bra, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Is that, what is that? Is that an Irish thing?
Yes, it is.
It is.
How was your St. Patrick's Day? Couldn't top mine. After 20 days being monitored in the hospital, my wife and I welcomed our second wee lass into the world that day. Both mother and child are home and excelling.
Congratulations.
So there you go,
That's awesome.
Rob. I'm not going to say your last name. I'm not going to blow up your spot. But Rob is
like you have everybody else.
Like everybody else, yeah. You've avoided it. Quick question. I've heard of the big boy members of the ACC maybe playing the lesser schools, in essence guaranteeing them their revenue of the stupid grant of rights to get their vote to break up the conference. Is this true and or feasible?
Playing them? What?
I don't. Or paying them.
I bet that's
paying. Yeah, the glasses. They're foggy, and I don't have a way to
I had
wipe
a feeling
them.
it was paying.
You probably don't need them to read that, though.
You're
Yeah.
right. I don't. But I look so good with them that I have to keep them on.
Man,
But
look.
so would the big boy, would Florida State and Clemson pay Wake Forest and Syracuse some sort of fee to get them to vote? I mean, hey, every
there's
tire
a lot
needs
of
greasing,
there's
though, right?
Well, there's a lot of scenarios people want to see happen. Whether or not they happen, we'll have to see. I mean, the schools, it's part of it's going to depend on what options they have in whatever league they go to. If the ACC completely breaks up, is the Big 12 an option? Is there a way for them to make? They're not going to agree to some sum of money if it means losing what they get in the ACC long term. So I mean, yeah, man, there's a lot of things that are discussions that are happening. I don't know if there's anything imminent along those lines. I mean, I think the best case is going to be ESPN is going to have to at some point come to the realization that it's in their best interest to make this happen. Whatever is going to be happen. I think they're going to have to be a part of it. I think Florida State and Clemson and a couple of these schools bailing on ESPN and the ACC is probably the least likely scenario. But I think ESPN may play ball. I mean, I think that may be where it goes.
So some things have to fall in place first, is what you read, is what you hear, right? I mean, we don't know specifics necessarily. If everybody did, we would be able to talk about this more directly. But you get a sense that Notre Dame's situation's got to get figured out first.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the network's fighting here, right? So Fox and ESPN, Big Ten, SEC, right? What happens to Notre Dame? So when that domino falls, let's say Notre Dame goes to the Big Ten, and the Big Ten's going to push Notre Dame to join the Big Ten. They're going to say, hey, look, man, you're going to be left out here. I know you value your independence. And right now, Notre Dame's telling the Big Ten, go to hell. We don't need you. But you will, if this becomes two super conferences and both agree not to schedule your ass, then what are you going to do? Because USC and UCLA and maybe some others are going to the Big Ten, and all of a sudden some of these traditional rivals won't play you. Michigan won't play you. USC won't play you. Then what are you going to do?
And why would Michigan, if they're in the Big Ten making $82 million a year, they don't need the Notre Dame money. They don't need the home and home with Notre Dame.
So they could be forced into having to do what they haven't wanted to do. So that domino falls. Well, now the SEC's got to counter. They got to figure out, okay, well, that's a big deal.
And there's also, other, Oregon and Washington can end up going to the Big Ten. We still don't know what's going to happen with the Pac-12. I mean, so there's a lot of variables here. My point was, if there's a specific scenario you're hearing about is a possibility, I just don't think they're there yet. I think there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
And all of them, when Florida State, it's like, when you do those games, like not a coloring book, but those things where you draw you have to pick the right path.
Oh yeah.
To get out of the maze or whatever. Like Florida State, the only paths they want are getting out of this ACC. Like trying to revenue sharing and all that's like a stopgap. Anything that doesn't involve staying in the ACC is what they're looking for. So they're looking at a lot of different options. That may be one of them.
And what's funny is that when you think about the ACC, how many of the schools right now, this is how bad the conference is, wouldn't have an obvious landing spot. Like who's going to be clamoring to get Boston College or Pitt? Not many, right?
It's got a better chance, but
but not much. No. Georgia Tech, who's Wake Forest.
Nobody's
racing for that. Quite honestly, Duke. Because Duke brings nothing to the sport that matters the most. Now they have the cachet in an important sport.
Well, but we've seen it's not as important as you think.
And it is dwindling. Like this March Madness, maybe it's because I was on a cruise, but I don't think you don't know the players anymore. College basketball continues to lose relevance.
I ripped it all year long. The sport has suffered. Also, by the way, lowest shooting percentage from beyond the arc in the history of the tournament. Lowest one through 2 rounds.
Yeah,
31%. It's awful.
Thanks a lot, Steph. Well, you got all these 6'9" guys won't play with their back to the basket anymore. They got to chuck up 30-footers.
Painful. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news.
Supposed to do.
Hospital Sunday evening with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to his foot. The shooting happened around 7:30 p.m. at 2833 South Adams Street, the Park at Bristol apartment complex. The man told the police that he got into an argument with several men, which led to a physical fight. When fleeing the scene, the man was shot in the foot, according to Tallahassee Police Department. The man was driven to a local hospital by a family member to receive treatment. No arrests have been made. This is an open investigation. To celebrate healthcare heroes, Wild Adventures is offering free admission to those who work tirelessly in the medical field to keep individuals safe. Healthcare workers will receive free single-day admission Friday through Sunday this coming weekend. Workers will need to present employee ID or proof of employment. Free admission is extended to anyone who works in any capacity for a healthcare facility or first responder department or organization. Those roles include doctors, nurses, cafeteria workers, janitors, and more. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly clear this afternoon with highs around 72. Southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 49 tonight. Cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 80 tomorrow. Bright sunshine. Dry with temperatures a bit above average Thursday and Friday and highs in the low 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 68.
Florida, one of the lawsuit capitals of the world. There are more billboards in Florida encouraging you to sue than any country on earth. And guess what? It's costing all of us, to the tune of $5,000 a year per family. We are paying more on everything from food to insurance. Stop letting billboard trial lawyers win while consumers and local businesses lose. Urge the Florida Senate to support SB 236, sponsored by the Florida Chamber of Commerce, PAC.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Greg?
You know all the different ways that you can listen to Real Talk 93.3?
There are several.
So we've got realtalk93.com. You can go back and listen to all of our shows in the podcast section.
That's right. You can also listen on our app as well.
Search Real Talk 93.3 and look for the red microphone and download our app. Never go anywhere without us.
And of course, you can always listen right on the radio.
Well, they are listening.
Are they?
If they're hearing this commercial, then they're listening.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Pressure's on Corey Clark to keep it rolling. Twitter questions, I've rolled through them.
Oh, that's not true.
It is true.
I'll do some research.
Please do. Please do.
Okay, well.
Some of your Twitter questions just turned out to be observations, not questions.
I'm not going to have you disparaging.
I'm not disparaging any. I haven't.
All right, here we go. This is from Brian Jennings. Again, Jennings, the middle name. So, I won't give the last name. I know it's early, but should we be concerned about this baseball team not making the tournament this season? Could our 44 consecutive seasons in a row in the postseason come to an end? We just got waxed by UCF in the midweek and lost 2 of 3 to a bad BC team. Although BC's not bad. It's just BC. Now we've got UF and 3 at UVA. Panic button, question mark. Thanks for all that you guys do, and yay,
sausage.
How did that sound? It doesn't sound as emphatic coming out of my mouth, does it?
You don't have the gusto, but
I
it's
don't.
okay. I know
I don't
that
have the gravitas.
your heart is in the right place.
I'm trying.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm not worried about them making the tournament. They're going to make the tournament because they're going to play better at the end of the year than they're playing now. However, they are going to, at some point this year, be 500 or sub 500, and people.
I think that might be the end of this week.
People are about to jump off a ship.
Yeah, if you're in danger of panicking about baseball
in
March, this next 8 days is going to be tough for you.
It's going to be hard because you're probably going to be sub 500.
Yeah.
in this week. And so if you're sub 500 this week, you're right, Corey. The record goes south, and all of a sudden people think it's over, but it's not. It's not over. I'm here to tell you, calm the hell down. Calm the hell down.
I just want him to make. I just want him to make the ACC tournament at this point,
buddy. What are you doing?
Hey,
you're
I'm trying to be trying to be that guy. I want to be proven wrong.
I am pragmatic. I'm a realist. If I thought they were in real trouble, I'd say. But again, I think a lot of it has to do with what were your expectations to start the year. What did you think they'd be? I think we collectively said they'd be a team that makes the tournament. I'm sticking by that.
Yeah, I think I think there's a good, decent chance they're going to make the tournament.
Florida?
I was getting worried.
I'm a little concerned.
That's the most worried
I was
I've
out
heard
there.
Ira in a
I was out
while.
there all weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Let me get one of these Twitter questions that Jeff ignored.
All right, go ahead.
From Jason.
Well, I don't understand what's going on. So now it's we're doing.
He
this
said they're done.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
They're done.
Jason says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Will our improved pass rush allow Adam Fuller to call a more aggressive cover scheme to put pressure on opponents' short and intermediate passing game? Have to think it will be more difficult for teams to throw deep simply for lack of time."
This must have been recently added.
No, man, it was 13 hours ago.
I'm not even seeing this question on here.
Sorry.
This thing is blocking
How
your
about,
questions.
How about we answer the question? Did you hear it? You want me to read it again?
Hey, I'll answer it. Don't worry
All
about
right,
him. It's
Corey,
just
what do
you
you
and I
think?
doing a show right now. Turn towards me.
I
Oh,
found some more questions.
look
Oh
at
my
this.
God.
No. I'll explain.
Yeah,
I'll explain in a moment. But go ahead.
I do think the improved pass rush will help.
He thought
I
he
don't
had
know that he's
4
going
Twitter
to.
questions.
I don't know that he's going to call a more aggressive scheme. But maybe there'll be some worse throws over the middle because the guy's getting wrecked as soon as he's throwing the ball, and that's where Tatum Bethune takes one to the house.
Yeah,
or our man Travis J.
Hey, let's hope.
What's in, what is interesting though is I think last year they had to blitz a lot because they couldn't get pressure. They couldn't count on getting pressure with their front four.
Not with 5 out, not out or not.
Yeah,
healthy,
if it wasn't coming from Verse and sometimes Peyton, so they had to be more aggressive in terms of blitzing.
Correct.
So you normally would think that's more aggressive, but you can be kind of aggressive in terms of like different schemes and coverages and confusing quarterbacks. And I think because you feel like you can get more from the front four, maybe you could be a little bit more complex on the back end, which could result in some turnovers because certainly didn't see a lot of turnovers last year.
Yeah,
7 interceptions.
I'm excited about the amount of different fronts they can roll out there and the kind of confusion that can provide and sliding guys around to different spots and taking advantage of matchups. I think they will be able to do that. I got a Twitter question.
Oh, nice.
I found one. Gentlemen, when FSU unveils the Mickey Andrews statue over the Mickey Andrews practice fields,
right?
Should the pose be him yelling at a DB, him yelling at a referee, or him yelling at Chris Ricks?
Or Jimbo.
I love it.
Yeah, probably yelling at Chris Ricks would be really funny.
Ricks would like that because that would mean he'd have to be in the statue.
Yeah, maybe you maybe you don't see the name, it's just the jersey number. Yeah, but that hopefully that'll happen one day, but I would say it's trending not in that direction if I had to guess from the last how long has Mickey been gone? 15 years?
I mean, he's not dead.
Gone from the program.
Yeah, okay, let's not.
Sorry, he's not dead. He's still alive.
I just saw Mickey recently.
Yeah.
He's also Mickey has got to be from the like Irish descendants in Alabama.
Yeah.
I know he grew up in Alabama, but there's probably some Irish descendants there.
There
is. It's the Mickey name.
They're all over. Savannah,
maybe,
you name them.
Maybe something tied into the Ireland game.
You unveil the statue.
The statue over there.
You put it in front of their stadium in Dublin. Perfect. That would be a perfect Florida State.
Stadium.
And then
who the hell is this
they build another Dunlap statue while we're all gone in Ireland.
Oh, man.
Perfect.
Burke writes, the last super hyped FSU team that hadn't actually won anything was in 1988, preseason number 1. Will Odell Higgins explain to the team the dangers of recording boastful rap TikToks over the next 5 months?
That's a good point. Yeah, Odell was front and center for the Seminole rap. But you would say that team ended up number 2 in the country. They just started with a tough game. At Miami to start the season wasn't a great way to start that season. And they did not perform well in that game.
No. It's one thing to have a tough start to the season, another to get
Imagine if we were doing headlines that week.
Ooh.
We'd have been calling for everybody's job. Ferguson's terrible. Play the Willis kid.
That was frustrating.
Sammy needs to be Dexter Carter. Everybody.
Was there sports talk radio in Tallahassee back then?
88?
You did the story about
I wasn't here. I wasn't here in 88.
There might have been no, Tom Block wouldn't have been around.
No, he wouldn't. No.
I don't think it started till the early 90s.
Yeah.
And it would be like one day a week. How crazy is that it took people that long to figure out dum-dums like us wanted to talk about sports a lot?
So it's funny because
or listen to people talk about sports.
Because I remember Jim Crosby being on. I remember even for a short stint, Lee Bowen being on.
Did Lee Bowen do like a talk show?
He did briefly. He was terrible.
He was great. I loved him as a play-by-play guy.
He was a great play-by-play announcer, and I miss him. He was a great guy and gave me my start. but he was awful at hosting a show. That's why they needed people, and they went out and got him. But it was interesting. Yeah, it was sort of hodgepodge for a while there.
Yeah.
And so I remember listening to Rick Ballou, and I remember listening to Tom Block, and I remember actually approaching those gentlemen about getting into the business
over beers at O'Halloran's.
Oh, there was Halligan's is where Tom Block and I had many a beer at Halligan's discussing broadcasting life and everything in between. But golly, that was a long time ago. Can we go ahead and expect a Seminole Headlines live from Dublin? This is from Gil. Some register sausage and Guinness for all who attend. I'm down with that.
Make it happen.
There's no shortage of wonderful pubs by which we could host this Seminole Headlines broadcast.
We need to somehow have like the Dublin Chamber of Commerce sponsor it somehow, get us all over there, because think of all the people we're going to bring. A Seminole Headlines crew. I mean, are you kidding me?
That would be a lot of fun. As somebody who's spent a little time in Dublin, I can tell you, I can think of like at least 5 or 6 places where I went.
The only thing I'm concerned about a little bit is, and I'm not usually too worried about what people think about me. I'm kind of I'm fine with whatever you want to think about me. But I feel like we'll be judged. I feel like college football fans coming over.
Oh, man, they just had Nebraska there. What are you talking about?
So that helps.
Yes,
that helps.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
they had a great time. They had a great time, by the way.
Because I might judge some of the people we see at Disney World.
I feel like the Irish people have a lot in common with rabid college football fans. I think there's some shared DNA there in how they go about living their life. I think they would appreciate the passion that we college football fans bring
sports
to the
fans
game.
in general. I think so. Absolutely. And they are the kindest of people. I firsthand, everywhere we went, every county I went in, they were very welcoming.
So they're not going to judge us. Because I was prepared to say, look, guys, we're not NC State.
Right. We're not throwing piss bombs on you. None of that nonsense.
It could be a lot worse. Because I want you to know we're not NC State. We're not Auburn. Like, there's some other place that would be worse.
You just threw Auburn in there. Huh?
Yeah, you threw Auburn in there. Yeah, Auburn's the NC State of Alabama.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is it a little shaky at Auburn?
Well, come on, man. It's Auburn.
It's the SEC.
Yeah, exactly
you can just say the SEC.
All right. Hey, you want another Facebook?
Yeah, sure.
Nathaniel Hornblower. I can't say that last name because I don't think it's his real one.
It's not. That's a playoff of the Beastie Boys and something MCA did.
Have you guys heard any whispers as to a potentially significant increase in pace this year, like offensive pace? At least until we get up big on some lesser teams. It seems like our personnel, deep in trenches and skill alike with a veteran QB, finally suggests we should, at times, really lay on the gas to bury many of these lesser teams. P.S. Ira and Jeff, are your significant others now proudly peddling shirtless thirst trap pics of you two on social media, or is that just Sweet Pea?
That's just Sweet Pea.
So I saw what Stephanie did there. She was able to
Future Mio sponsor.
She was able to fulfill your wish.
The whole reason they went on the cruise was so that they could put out a picture.
And then she
the whole reason for the trip.
Then she did it next
within 6 minutes of them getting there.
But it's a new picture. I was like, Jesus.
They hadn't even left the port.
But it looks like I'm not even trying. I don't even care if she's taking pictures.
Yeah, you don't even know.
I'm just hanging out.
Take a picture. Oh, you're gonna do the picture thing?
Hey, you're gonna post that?
Yeah, what's
you
going
don't
on
have
there?
to post
They're
that.
boarding the boat, and Corey's ripping off his shirt. Get the camera. Here's the background.
Post it. But whatever.
So by the way, after we all knew what was going on there and made fun of it, then the more it happened, the better it got for me, because I was like, somebody's going to bring this up, and it just happened. By the way, right after that, there is this Seminole Wagers. Right? Are you guys just going to let Corey have a pass on the spray tan?
Oh, no.
So and there's lots of these. No, we've sat in judgment. Believe me, we have sat in judgment.
And I know I'm
all
being
along.
judged.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it, but I mean it's who I am now. It's who I've become, and I mean I'm gonna. I guess I'll lean into it. What if I got so if you looked at me without a shirt on, and guys, you can, it's on the internet now.
Yes,
it's everywhere.
Everyone could.
It doesn't look like an obvious spray tan. It was a light dusting. But what if I got a crazy spray tan?
Go for it, buddy. Go for it.
Like get a wig while you're at it.
Brown.
Yeah.
I think that
in a wig.
In a wig?
A wig, dark brown. Try to be 26. I know.
Calf
your
implant.
heart needs it.
What's up with the whack PlayStation? What's up? It's so whack. This PlayStation.
Oh, are you going to start saying this is mid?
No, I'm going to say this is whack.
We're going back even further than
going back to when I actually was 26.
Oh, my goodness. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment. So let's say you're considering buying a new home in the current climate. All heard that demand is high, inventory is low. So how do you get a leg up on the rest of the buyers all making offers on the same house as you? Oh, that's a toughie. But the first place I'd suggest you start is with a call to my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with a complete pre-approval underwriting, This used to be an upgrade, but nowadays it's got to be standard. You want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need a TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten or even remove your financing contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is real and ready to go. It's tough out there these days, folks, so why not have the advantage of a proven winning team in your huddle? Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only Legendary Home Loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose up to 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiestakeout.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. With Foodies Takeout and Delivery, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiestakeout.com.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Fire away, Corey.
Oh man, you gotta warn me.
This
I thought
guy's
you
not
found.
ready.
I thought you found the Twitter question.
I did. All right. So I got another one here.
Real quick, Zyler asks, and I'm going to read it because this is in the chat.
Yeah.
Because it was the question I had to Corey and Stephanie. He asked, does a spray tan protect you from getting sunburn? That was my question. And Stephanie's like, oh no, he still has to put on SPF 1000.
Yeah. It's just
that's what we need. You need if it protected you from sunburn,
if it did something that
we wouldn't make fun of you because that
you
makes
would.
sense.
Of course you would.
Not as much. But it doesn't do anything for you.
The cool part, Jeff, because I don't think you guys know spray tan
It's
culture
specifically
like I do.
only for
it's cosmetic.
Appearance.
Only.
There's nothing.
It's only for cosmetics.
Yeah.
And again, I was ghostly white, so I
You were
I
doing
don't
it
feel,
for everybody else.
I was
It's
doing
okay.
it for other people.
Yeah.
It was
What a sacrifice.
It's magnanimous
It was.
of me, but it was an in-home spray tan. She came to my house and did it, but Stephanie was there because I guess it could get kind of creepy and
Oh, I
awkward
thought
with
you
a.
meant Stephanie did
No,
that
no,
for
the
you.
person came over
Oh,
and did
yeah.
it. She puts me in like a shower curtain that's like what Daniel LaRusso wore as a Halloween costume.
Right.
And you get and then she just sprayed me with sparkly stuff. It's slimy and kind of gross.
Sparkly.
A little sparkly. And then some of it came off in like 8 hours. And then you can
It's
see
like
the picture on the
you're getting
internet.
you were getting ready to dance at Mons.
Did you wear a thong too, Corey?
I
As
wore
a means of sacrificing.
I
for
put
the-
on shorts that I thought were Stephanie's shorts because you have to wear something small shorts. No, but I don't. My shorts go down to my knees. You've seen me in shorts. That would defeat the
proper
purpose.
place for shorts.
I had to wear shorts to get the tan. So but I couldn't wear underwear.
On the beach or on the boat. Did you wear normal shorts?
Oh, I thought you meant for the spray
No,
tan.
no.
Yes, I did. I wore shorts. Yeah, you're right. I didn't wear a Speedo. So why did I have to wear?
I was going to say
Stephanie's daughter's Lululemon tennis shorts to get a spray tan. All right. We've talked about this enough. What's the next question?
So now I think I have exhausted.
Oh, boy.
I really do.
Oh,
this whole show.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I feel like I've exhausted them now. One you already read, there was a lot.
All right, I got one from Brett. He says, how surprised are you to find out that Rich Little is still alive? He is 84 years old.
Is he still doing impersonations?
Probably. Everybody he does an impersonation of, I can promise you,
He's dead. Yeah.
I turned 39 on Sunday. This is Brett, not me.
Mm-hmm.
I wish.
We all wish we were turning 39. Yeah.
I usually get prime rib on my birthday, but I'm hoping to get some birthday sausage as well.
Hey, what?
Okay,
whoa.
Brett, it's
All
fine.
right. Hey,
I mean,
man.
it's fine.
Cool.
Register
Fine
sausage,
era.
of course. Keep up the good work. So that was just Brett.
All right,
chiming
Brett,
in.
Appreciate that. Happy birthday in advance, buddy. I
Yeah,
know
happy
we'll forget
birthday.
on Friday. Steve writes, greetings, gentlemen. What is more important, a strong defense or hitting? Would you sit Nander?
Oh, he's talking about baseball.
Yeah. So
I would sit Nander. He'd never see the field again. And then in terms of, and he might hit, but he would never see the field as a defender again. And then in terms of what's more important.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and this is Corey and I were talking about this before. Like, part of the problem with their defense, the defense was bad last year. The defense has been bad for a long time. This is not a new phenomenon. The problem now is they don't strike anybody out. So you could kind of hide it when 17 outs, when you're getting 15 to 17 outs on strikeouts.
That's 5 innings of the ball not being put in play.
But
You only
now-
got a field for 4 innings a game.
It was riveting to watch.
It was.
It sucked to watch,
Yeah.
but watching this ain't a whole lot better.
No, but I always feel like you have a fighting.
You
If
got
you're
a
healthy,
chance.
you got a chance to win 11-10.
You got a chance to field that ball.
Well, with Nander out there, you don't. So I would sit him. But they've got to get guys in the positions they're supposed to be.
Nander could play first. He's just putting his foot on the bag and catching a thrown ball.
Well, we don't have a true first baseman.
That's
either.
what I'm saying. Sean, another baseball question. Right, elite headliner Sean. Knowles baseball has lost 5 of the last 6. I strongly believe this is due to lack of pitching depth and development of pitchers by previous regime. What say you?
Well, I think some of your best pitchers vacated the premises. That hurt.
Yeah, one in particular.
yeah.
Well, in a couple of good arms.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
bullpen.
You lost some arms, man. That's just not easily replaceable.
They didn't crush it in the portal like maybe they could have. It's Florida State. Maybe you go out and get somebody besides just the kid from Wake Forest that turns out not to be great. Maybe that's next year, though. Maybe that's coming next year. He's getting it
So,
all
by the
lined
way,
up.
Steve was the one who wanted to know if you were in a gang, what's up with all the hand gestures? So he's not in a gang.
I don't have any tattoos. Maybe that's the next step, Ira. We could get matching tattoos in
go.
Ireland.
You gonna wait till Ireland?
Yeah. Yeah. Get an Irish flag or like a House of Pain tattoo. They're Irish. They're straight Irish.
I was
those
thinking
guys.
you're going to go with like a little shamrock.
No,
but
no, a House of Pain tattoo.
There you go. Everlast. Just get the Everlast tattoo.
Yeah. He's pure Irish.
Hey,
What genre is he singing now?
no, I think he's still bluesy
swing
now.
dancing.
He's still pretty much bluesy.
Blues.
Yeah, yeah. He can actually play the guitar. Hey, read another one, buddy. We're done. I definitely exhausted all the Twitter
Aren't we
questions.
done as a show?
We are. We're
Okay.
minutes away.
Yeah,
We're
I
about 2
think I
minutes
got
away
them
from
all.
saying goodbye to everybody. Maybe not even.
People are thankful.
Yeah.
No, it's been good.
It's been a good show,
Hey,
man.
listen,
We take a week off.
At the end of the day.
Colin in the chat says, me and Patrick Watkins were on this Independence cruise with Corey this weekend. Where does he rank? He's saying Patrick Watkins was on the cruise?
Yeah.
Did you see
I didn't know that.
Pat
I
Watkins?
didn't see Pat
Apparently,
Watkins.
several people were. Somebody said earlier.
You got
on
him,
here-
Eric, that was on the cruise that was a big fan of the show as well. He saw me, not to brag, but he saw me coming out of the fitness center.
Yeah.
It
Glistening?
stopped in his heart, glistening, with my
Stopped in
shirt
his
off.
heart?
Oh, yeah.
Stopped in his tracks, sorry. It's like Corey Clark. And then he told me how a big fan he was of the show.
There
so that
you
was neat.
go. Yeah.
That was neat. We sat with some people from Tallahassee that did not know who I was at the hibachi dinner too. So it was,
How
there
was
were a
the
lot of Noles
hibachi?
fans. It was good, really good.
If-
They're all comics. They're all jokesters.
If you're telling the truth, Colin, if Pat Watkins was really, he was a nice player, man. I like Pat Watkins.
I thought Pat
Good guy.
Watkins underachieved and had a better pro career.
He was,
I actually thought he had a better
was a
pro
nice
career than
player.
I thought.
And where does he rank as an all-time safety at Florida State? That was kind of the question. I
Pro-
wouldn't say.
Not that high.
probably not the top 3, as he
Yeah.
suggested.
No.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Nice
I mean,
player.
he had all the measurables, right? He made no sense to be that long, and he had everything.
Local kid too, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
Lincoln?
I think he's coaching high schools
Yeah.
now too.
Always frustrated me a little bit. I thought he could have been better. That's not a shot. I mean, I would have loved to have had an ounce of his athleticism.
That
but
was
he
the
a gifted
run where
player.
Lincoln had every year 2 6'4" dudes.
Coach
that could
Wilson over
just
there at
fly.
Lincoln dominated the era.
Coach
Man.
Wilson's been out of practice a few times.
Coach Wilson was one of the nicest people to me when I broke into the business. I went
Okay.
over there to interview him and interviewed several high school coaches, and he welcomed me in. I sat down and had like a 2-hour conversation with him about football. It was awesome.
His daughter worked at Capital State Bank, and we used to do
Brooke,
some stuff with them as
I know.
well.
I know. Brooke.
But there, as far as, I mean, like this, this spring. We're going back out there today. Wrap it up.
On our way right now. On our way.
They'll be practicing this afternoon. Practice Thursday. Scrimmage on Saturday. It's a big week, man. We'll have a lot more to talk about next Tuesday.
So think about this. We got practice today. They're in full pads. Afterwards, Florida State, Florida. When Florida State wins that game, everybody will settle down about not making the postseason. It's going to be all right. That's a big win tonight for Florida State. 5 runs or more, they're going to boat race Florida. And then, like Ira said, we got another practice on Thursday, and then a scrimmage Saturday, loaded with stuff. Warchant.com, Warchant TV. Forget about it. You're going to want to read all this. You got to do it. Got to do it. For Corey Clark, Ira Chaffel, for Director Matthew, I'm Jeff. Peace, everybody. Be well. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again real soon.